Hey guys, welcome back to 6 Hearts on 6 Acres. I am Bree and I am going to show you what I'm doing this evening in my garden. I am a mom to 4, a wife to a wonderful husband, and a part-time employee in my local hospital. So I am busy to say the least, but I have a spare hour tonight, so I want to show you what I prioritize in my garden in the little bit of time that I get to spend on it on the days that I work. So let's head to the squash because that is where my most important job is for the evening. I am growing my squash in these lick tubs behind me, so they are up off the ground for the most part. I do actually have a few in the ground as well, but when I have the tubs available, I like to grow them off the ground. I feel like I have a better chance at seeing pests, and I feel like they get less pests being off the ground. But I did notice when I was walking by some squash bugs and some squash bug eggs. So let me show you what those look like and what I do with them, because they will very quickly ruin your squash plants if you let them live on your plants. I have found the best way to find squash bugs in your zucchini and squash plants is to give them a good water. That'll make them come up from the soil, and they usually crawl up the plant and be quite a bit more visible. Now, when I came out here just a minute ago, before I started making this video, I already killed 6 of them, but I have no doubts that we'll be able to find more so you can see what they look like. I just didn't want to miss those ones while they were there for me to grab. There is one right there. And you see him? They are pretty good at camouflaging themselves, and this one is upside down, so he's even harder to see. I'm going to set him on the leaf so you can see him. So that is what a squash bug looks like. And these things very quickly will kill your plants. They suck the life out of them. Now the best way to get rid of these pests is just to smush them. I don't like the feeling of them being on my hands, so I get 2 pieces of wood chips and just squeeze until they are for sure dead. Some people gather them up in a cup, but I really want to touch them the least amount possible. And I have read several times that people's chickens don't even eat them, so I'm not going to worry about gathering them and giving to the chickens. I'm just going to get rid of them as soon as I see them. Now, the next thing you need to look for as soon as you start seeing these squash bugs on your plants are squash bug eggs. They look like little tiny copper dots, and I saw a few out here. Let me show you. That is what squash bug eggs look like. These things will hatch, and in not very long at all will turn into pests that destroy your squash plants. So you want to get rid of those. I personally just tear that part of the plant off. That has those eggs in it, and then I will smush them and dispose of them. Now, when you're checking for these eggs, that one was on the top of a leaf, but that is unusual. Typically, they are on the underside of leaves. Oh, look, see right there? They're on the underside of leaves. So that's where you want to look, and you make sure and remove all of these. Now, as soon as I start seeing these, this is a job that I do at least every single day, because these things grow so quickly, and they can just really take over and ruin your plants. So I don't want them to be out here at all. Found another one of these nasty things. No mercy. No mercy at all for squash bugs. You also have to be careful and look not just on the leaves, but also on the stem as well, because look at those right there. I also saw while I was looking for squash bugs and squash bug eggs that I am ready to harvest my first squash and zucchini. Now, they just started blooming the other day, but I have no male flowers right now, only female flowers. Let me show you the difference. Female flowers have zucchini on, or squash, on the other side of them. So these tiny ones that haven't opened right here, those are females. And all of these that don't have a squash or zucchini or any type of fruit attached, those are males. These are not ready to open yet though. So these that opened 2 days ago were not pollinated, and they are not going to get any bigger than this. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these from my plant and have them for dinner tonight. If you don't cut these plants soon enough after their flower opens and they don't get pollinated, this is what happens. The end starts to, oh, if I can get you in focus there, the end of that starts to rot, and then those are no good to eat. So that's why I cut them small if there are no male flowers available for pollination. The next thing I'm going to do tonight is to harvest any food that is ready to go. Now, some of these broccoli heads, you can see, are going to flower. I'm not going to harvest those ones. I'm going to let those go to seed. I'm not going to be keeping seed from this broccoli though, because it went to seed a lot faster than another variety that I am going to be saving seed from. I have some peas that are ready here. This is one of the very few pea plants that I left in the garden. I pulled all the others out due to them having some powdery mildew, and I was ready to get my summer trellis going in full swing. So I went ahead and pulled those out. But this one was still looking pretty good, so I left it in the garden. And I have so much kale and Swiss chard to harvest. So let's get some of that as well. Kale is like the plant that just keeps on giving. Look at all of that. That is the Russian red kale, and then I have a little bit of this dazzling blue kale as well. Beautiful Swiss chard. Swiss chard is in the spinach family, the beet family, the amaranth family. It has a lot of things in common with those plants. It is a green that is really great all summer long. It doesn't get that terrible bitter taste, and it's beautiful. It comes in, if you can tell, it comes in these pink and yellow colors. It also comes in orange. And then just this green variety that I have as well. It is a beautiful plant, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming. This is something that I recommend for every single beginner to grow because you will feel like you're the best gardener ever. I also have some basil here that is starting to flower, and we don't want that to happen because it kind of signals to the plant that it's done growing. So the way that you harvest basil is you pinch it in between two leaf nodes. So you can see here, these leaves are starting to come out, but those are flowering as well. So I'm going to come all the way down to the next leaf node where they're not flowering and just pinch that off. And I'm going to do that to the whole plant. Smells so good. Basil is beautiful. It's easy to use in so many different ways, and it just smells so stinking good. Something I'm going to make this year that I've never had before is basil tea. I've heard a lot of people rave about that, especially Jess from Roots and Refuge, and made sure to grow the Tulsi basil this year, although I didn't label it, so I don't know which one it is. I kind of think that it's this one. If you know if this is the Tulsi basil, let me know in the comments. And I want to show you this as well. You see that? That is called leaf miner. That is a little fly that lays eggs, and they get inside your leaves and kind of eat from the inside out. So we are going to take this leaf off, and I'm going to give it to the chickens. They'll just eat it. But you see, oh, I missed one up here. How different that plant looks now. It is compact, and it is going to start branching out at all of those places where I pinched its leaves off. And I have this whole little bundle of basil. Look at all this basil. It seriously smells so good. And look, my first radish. I don't have time to do anything else in the garden tonight, but I do want to show you how beautiful my flower bed is turning out. I've had so many blooms off of it the last week. I have made 2 bouquets so far, and it is just really starting to fill out with beautiful color and some really healthy looking plants. So let me show you how gorgeous my snapdragons are, what are really showing off right now. All right, this is what it looks like from far away. Then as you walk in, I have my African marigolds. My nasturtium is just starting to bloom. I have my first zinnia bloom. My chamomile is starting to get little buds on it. I'm so excited about that. My sweet peas don't have any blooms yet, but they're getting really tall. This Russian statice is so pretty. I have plenty of weeds and grass in here as well. But look at these snapdragon. I always want to say I started these from seed, but I started every single one of these plants from seed, which I feel like is really awesome. But look how pretty these snapdragons are. I have them in every color. I have some really pretty celosia over there. This cosmic red straw flower is about to bloom. Look at all those ants, it's covered. My sunflowers are getting nice and tall. Remember, those are all different varieties. My cosmos are going to be blooming any day. And just look at all of these snapdragons. I have yellow and white, hot pink. These ones are like strawberry lemonade. Oh, and I spy, I thought I just had one zinnia, but I have another one. I think that's a polar bear zinnia. This bed is just going to be absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to see it filled out. Also, another thing that has nothing to do with this harvest time tonight, but this cheddar cauliflower, actually I said it doesn't have anything to do with harvest. It's starting to separate a little bit, so let's go ahead and harvest it. Is that color not absolutely gorgeous? This is my first time growing, successfully growing any cauliflower that's not white. And because I showed you the cheddar cauliflower, I also have to show you this gorgeous purple moon cauliflower. Is that not the most beautiful thing that you have ever seen? It is absolutely stunning, and we're gonna be harvesting that any day. I could not wait to have this for dinner. As much as I would love to just spend my whole evening out here, I have kids who think they need to have dinner, so I better finish up out here and get inside and get something prepared. I know that lots of these veggies I picked tonight are gonna make it onto my dinner plate, which makes it a little bit more exciting to go make dinner. But thank you guys so much for being here. If you like this video and you want to see more of this gorgeous garden, you want to see me preserving and cooking with these gorgeous, healthy, nutritious foods, then go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave me a comment in the comment section about why you're here, and I will see you for the next video. Until then, God bless.